let's take a course study here. Let's take and use the same time period as it would take to get a university degree. So let me see if I got the notes on this. Let's see if we can come up with this, all right? Now, here's what we have for our course studies. You can pick one or more of these to use to learn your business. We have, for example, business building seminars, and what we do is usually gathers a local group. We'll bring in somebody who has built these businesses that will explain how they did it. We have 4 national conventions a year, or conferences, and that can be done by Diamond Team, or we have a national free enterprise celebration. They're different, happen different times a year, approximately 90 days apart. Now, I would recommend going to all of them, because the locals will teach you at the grassroots, ground in the trenches level, because the people just came out of the trench the night before to come in and tell you about it. At the national level, or the national conferences, it's a much bigger organization. They're usually bringing in people who've built the whole diagram that we demonstrate. And so they're there with the previous experience. You're going to hear a lot better attitude skills, leadership skills from these people. And many of them will say this: we are a product of the system. They are actually come up, and no matter what background they had, what education level, what type of work ethic they had, they've come through the system, they've educated themselves, they've associated with the team, and they are really good at communicating and helping you to see a much bigger picture for your business. So both of those are important. Now, each one of these BBSs that are performed, most of them are taped. This that we're doing tonight is being taped, and that tape is sent in and it's reviewed. All of these presentations are being done to teach us basic fundamentals about not only our business but life, and we choose the best 1 a week for the course of the month, or 52 for the course of the year. They're actually edited down. As final committee will pick those that will be on the continued education program. And so we have a continued education cassette, or CD. Now that comes out each week, and you can subscribe to that. We call it the Jaeger Leadership Series. Now each team picks out a basic set of tapes. We call them the library. And that library we recommend that you purchase at your leisure, as you like. The matter of fact, you don't have to purchase the whole library. You purchase one at a time. Right? I have libraries, not only my libraries, I collect other people's libraries. I love to have the cassette tapes. I've not switched over to CDs yet. Some of you I know have gotten a little bit more modern than me. But the point is this: I have a library in my office of cassette tapes, and they're classics. How many of you collect music recordings? CDs, long playing albums, cassettes. All right. Now, and you display them. You look at them, and some of those you just feel in the mood for it. And you kind of take it down, and and that's the same thing I do with these tapes. These are people and they're not just boring. Somebody's not reading a speech. They're talking from their hearts, and it's just a really good feeling. And it's not so much what they're saying; it's how they're saying it, and you really learn a lot. When you first start listening to it, you're listening to how, and after a while you're listening to first you're listening to what they're saying, then you're listening to how did they say that, because you're starting to take over those leadership roles, and you want to learn how to say it the best way it can be said. Then we have 12 continued education books a year. We pick out a library book every month, and that's going to be on these different education processes: people skills, communication skills, organizational development skills, goal setting, leadership skills, relationship skills, debt reduction, a variety of different ones, again, to improve you in all of those areas. Now there's videos. A lot of people collect a lot of videos. Now, I took all of that. Now remember, I said you don't have to engage in all of that. You probably don't have time to engage in all of that. But you can, of course, you can read books before you go to bed, or when you get up in the morning, or during your breaks. You can listen to tapes when you're doing different things. You're going to work, coming back from work, exercising, whatever you do. And so the combination of those things, the only thing that really requires, as we call it, bottoms in seats, is the BBSs and the 4 conferences. Now, what I did was I took the cost of all of those and I added them together. Right? I can tell you personally that in my first year in the business, I did not buy all of those things. I love tapes. I bought a lot of tapes. I got continued education. I got, every time a new tape came out, I got the new tape. I got the basic library tapes. The books I didn't really get into as much at first. I had to learn to become a reader, and I didn't make all of the seminars. I worked on Saturdays, and so I had it very difficult. Now, Terry went, but I didn't personally go in the beginning, so we didn't have a cost there. But the reality of this is that I started my second year finding ways to get to the conferences. I started reading the books, and so the second year I got more into that investment. All right? Now I want to compare with you, because we've all talked about university educations. On a 4-year course study to earn a degree in financial freedom, and basically that's to fill this out. Fill out these 60 spaces here, these 60 little circles. By filling those out in 4 years, that would be putting one name strategically on here every 20 days. Now, if you were, and this is like a report card. Now, here's how this works. You study, you listen to a tape, you read a book, you go to a seminar, and now you're going to take your test. Where is your test? It's in the application. Where's the application? It's going out and talking to somebody about the concept, being a presenter. And, a presenter or interviewer, a PI. If you go out and you present the business or you interview somebody for the business, you are now testing what you've learned. All right, so let's say you take 5 tests a week. Right? Just, you went to school 5 days a week. Let's say you take 5 mini tests a week. They only take about an hour and 15 minutes to take. So you go out and you take your test. Now, as you get better, your grades improve, don't they? Now, let's just say that you are putting one person on here per every 20 days, and you're presenting this 5 times a week, which means you're taking 5 tests a week to see how you're learning. Now, what that comes out to in percentage, that means is if you have a 5% success rate, in other words, you get 1 out of 20 that actually register in your business, your result will be you'll be making $100,000 in 4 years with a 5% success rate. Right? Now, here's the difficulty. Most of us in the room can't handle a 95% failure rate. But a 5% success rate will put us in the top 1% income level in passive income in this country, the richest country in the world. How about this one? Continue that effort, and this is the $1 million a year. 9 legs, 20 deep, is $1 million a year. Right? 100,000, 3 legs, 20 deep, 9 legs, 20 deep, $1 million a year. All right, now, apply that. Well, so I compared that, and I went back to a college education. Here's what I came up with. In comparison, all right, the bottom line is this. When you take and compare it to a college education, the cost of the Jaeger Institute, if you repeated the education process every year for 4 years, obviously you don't have to rebuy the library every time, you don't have to rebuy the books, you don't have to rebuy the tapes, you don't have to rebuy the cassette, the videos and all that kind of stuff, doesn't have to be rebought. Just the continued education series and going to the BBSs. All right? Now, that would mean it would cost, even if you repeated it 4 years in a row, kind of like taking the same courses over again, it would still be 1/5 the cost with 3 times the income. Except for, it's not a fair comparison because the average income from a university is an active income at $30,000 a year. This is a passive income, which would continue to come in even after that point, where by graduating from a university, you've got to work 40, 50 hours a week, 50 weeks out of the year to continue that $30,000 a year. This would come in because you've already finished the project. It would come in each year after that. Now, you tell me which is smart. Right? I mean, I've talked to students about this. Matter of fact, I had a student, I was amazing, his father, and he came in, it was one of my meetings. I explained this. Afterwards, the student came up to me and says, so what's the sense of going to a university? And his father gets this real panicked look on his face. And I looked at his father and I said, well, you tell him. Right? Because Because if he wants to be, if his goal is to be financially free, then he needs to go to a university of success. He needs to participate in a mentoring group that's going to teach him the attitudes. If he's looking for a good job or a business to sell his time, he needs a good position, which means he needs a good university education. I just decide what you want. Now, there are people who say, I guess I'd much rather sell my time. Why? Because there's less threat. There is no failure rate. Right? You know, once they get the job, they go in and they work their 40 or 50 hours. They feel fairly secure as long as that company keeps them going and as long as the company itself keeps going itself. The point is this. Right? You're sitting in this room tonight because you have decided to take on the option of becoming financially free. It's an option. You don't have to take it that far. I mean, you could build to the platinum level, make $40,000 or $50,000 a year as a second income. Still keep your full-time job. But for those of you that just want to know that no matter where you choose to go in this world, what your ideal lifestyle is, how much you would like to be financially free, it comes down to the fact you now have a vehicle, a means of transportation to go where you want to go. I mean, look at this. Right? Simply, as you build an organization, whether it be 10 in your organization or 50 in your organization or 150 in your organization, building out to 150 in your organization. Let me show you exactly what you're looking to do. What you're looking for is a presenter, someone to present the business. You would first learn how to do that. And that means, very simply, it's a simple process because now we have CDs we can present with, we have literature we can present with, and videos you can present with. There's all kinds of support materials to present the plan with. Or just simply a piece of paper or a whiteboard and showing them what you know. It's always amazing to me, when you're showing somebody the business, the presentation, they've never seen it before. They don't know what you're not telling them. Right? Everybody's so worried about not saying it right or not pointing all the stuff out. Don't worry about it. The other thing is take notes in. Right? Take little note cards. First off, here's what you're really looking to do. In the process of going through your list and inviting people to take a look at this business and that you're going to present this business to them, you are looking for other presenters. 8 to 10 presenters, people who present the business, in your team. So you have a team of 8 to 10 presenters who present the business 15 times a month. We call that go-getter. But 8 to 10 presenters who are go-getters will build 150 household organization in 30 to 60 days. So now the question is how quickly can you get 8 to 10 presenters? You're not thinking about 150 households. You're thinking about putting together a team. From day one, you joined a team. That team is now looking to you to see if you're going to be one of the presenters on that team. That's the whole center. That's the whole core of our business. It's people who are in the trenches explaining this concept to other people. That's how we reach every household in the world. Now with over 300 million people in this country, over 120 million households that we can deal with in Canada and the United States, we have a very limited number of presenters. We can put together an 8 to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This group right here can build this room out in 30 to 60 days. Right? So I don't need to find this room. I just need to find 8 to 10 presenters. Right? So when I'm interviewing somebody, I'm not trying to register them just so they can order on Ditto Delivery or pick up some things at the partner stores. I mean, that's nice and they do that, that's great. But if that's your emphasis, you're missing the best way to build this quickly and become financially free in a relatively short period of time. The best way is to find someone that wants to be financially free, get them started, get them into the education process, have them join your team, mentor them, and teach them the trade. Right? Do that with 8 to 10 people, and you've got $50,000 a year coming in. Now think about this. Take each one of them and help them do 8 to 10. Now what's the number between 8 and 10? 9. Does that make sense? Is there a ring there? Okay. Help 9 people build out a team that has 8 to 10, middle number is 9, okay? 9 people who have 9 on their team that are presenters, and you have the back side of this board. $1 million a year, right? It's that simple. I mean, I hardly can sleep at night. I mean, it just gets so good because you see, you don't only have just this country. You don't only have North America. Do you realize that I get calls all 24 hours a day from different team leaders saying we've just got another presenter in our group? That fires me. Some people say, hey, I just sponsored somebody new. Are they a presenter? Are they in the education system? Did they join the team, or are they just ordering some things online? If they're ordering things online, great, we love them, and that's great. But that's not who I'm looking for. If you're going to be the leader of organizations, if you're going to build a financial empire that'll go from generation to generation, you will switch your concentration to building teams of presenters.